Good evening. Today we will be learning a very interesting story which is related to our freedom fighters. It's about the great struggle what our freedom fighters have done. So let's read out the story level 4 readers. Here I'm sharing the screen. Here is the story. This story is written by Subhadra Sen Gupta and illustrated by Tapas Guha and published by Pratham Books. So let's read the story. Marching to Freedom. Dhani knew something exciting was being planned at the ashram, but no one would tell him anything. Just because I am 9 years old, thought Dhani glumly. I am sure they think I am stupid. I am not. Dhani and his parents lived in a very special place. It was Mahatma Gandhi's Sabarmati Ashram near Ahmedabad, where people from all over India came to stay. Like Gandhiji, they were all fighting for India's freedom. During their stay at the ashram, they spent their time spinning khadi thread on charkhas, singing bhajans, and listening to Gandhiji's lectures. At Sabarmati, everyone had to work, cook, and clean, wash clothes, fetch water from the well, milk the cows and goats, and grow vegetables. Even Dhani had a job. He had to take care of Binni, one of the ashram's goats. He quite enjoyed that because Binni was his best friend and he liked talking to her. That morning, as Dhani fed Binny with fresh grass and changed the water in her bowl, he said, Something is up, Binny. They all sit and talk in Gandhiji's room. They are planning something. I know it. Binny chewed and nodded as if she understood. Dhani felt hungry. He headed towards the kitchen, with Binny skipping along beside him. His mother was fanning the chula, filling up the room with smoke. Amma, is Gandhiji going somewhere? He asked. His mother coughed in the smoke and said, They are going on a march. March? Where are they going? Dhani queried. Somewhere near the sea. Now stop asking questions and go away, Dhani. His mother said impatiently. Let me finish the cooking first. Dhani wandered off to the vegetable garden where old Binda was digging up potatoes. Binda Chacha, Dhani sat beside him. Are you going on the march too? Binda shook his head. Before he could say anything, Dhani eagerly asked, Who is marching? Where are you? Where are they going? What is happening? Binda stopped digging and said, I'll answer all your questions. But first tie up that troublesome goat. She is chewing up my spinach. Dhani dragged Binny away and tied her to the lemon tree nearby. Then Binda told him about the march. Gandhiji and some of the men from the ashram were going to walk through Gujarat to reach the sea at a place called Dandi. They would walk through villages and towns for a whole month. Once they reached Dandi, they would make salt. Salt? Dhani sat up and frowned. Why will they make salt? You can buy it in every shop. I know, Binda laughed, but Mahatma Ji had a plan. He always marches to protest against something, right? Of course, I know. He leads the Satyagraha marches to fight the British government and win freedom for India. But why is he protesting about salt? It's silly. It's not silly at all, Lani. Do you know we all have to pay tax on salt? So what? Everyone needs salt. That means every Indian, even the poorest, has to pay this tax, explained Binda Chacha. That's really unfair. Dhani's eyes were hot with anger. Of course, it is unfair. Not only that, Indians are not allowed to make any salt either. Mahatma Ji has asked the British to stop the tax, but they have refused. So he has decided to walk to Dandi and make salt from seawater. Working for a month? Dhani brooded worriedly. Gandhiji will get really tired. Why don't they take a bus or train to Dandi instead? Because if he goes on this long march and walks all the way to Dandi, the news will spread. There will be pictures in the papers and reports on the radio, and people all over the world will know that we are fighting for our freedom. And that will really embarrass the British. Gandhiji is clever, isn't he? Then his eyes were shining. Ah, that he is. Binda's eyes crinkled with laughter. He has even written to Viceroy and told him what he plans to do. The British have no idea what they are in for. Later in the morning, Dhani wandered up to the hut where Gandhiji was staying and peered in through a window. Inside, many of the ashram people were talking to Gandhiji. Dhani heard them planning the route along which they would walk to Dandi. He was thrilled to see his father sitting among the people. In the afternoon, when the ashram was quiet, Dhani went looking for his father. He found him under a tree, spinning on his charkha. Pitaji, are you and Amma going on the march to Dandi? Dhani got straight to the point. I am going. You and Amma will stay here. I am coming with you. Don't be silly, Dhani. You cannot walk so much. Only the ashram's young men will do. I am 9 and I can run faster than you can. Dhani replied stubbornly. You cannot stop me from coming with you. His father stopped spinning and explained patiently. Only the people who have been chosen by Mahatmaji will go. Fine, I will talk to him then. I am sure he will say yes, said Dhani and marched off. Gandhiji was a very busy man and it was not easy to catch him alone. But Dhani knew exactly when he would have the time to listen. Early every morning when he went for a walk around the ashram. The next morning, as the sun came up, Dhani slipped out of bed and went looking for Gandhiji. He found him in the cowshed checking on all the cows. Then he strolled into the vegetable garden to inspect the peas and cabbage and have a chat with Vinda. All the while, Dhani and Bini followed him. Finally, Gandhiji headed back to his hut. He sat down beside his charka in the veranda and called out to Dhani, Come here, child. Dhani ran up with Bini, skipping along. What's your name, beta? Dhani, Gandhiji. And his This is your goat? Yes, Gandhiji. This is my friend Binny, who gives the milk you drink every morning. Dhani smiled proudly and said, I take care of her. Good. Gandhiji leaned forward. Now, Dhani, tell me why you and Binny have been following me everywhere in this morning. I wanted to ask you something. Dhani began nervously. Can I come with you to Dandi? Gandhiji smiled. You are too small, beta. Dandi is 385 kilometers away, and only young men like your father will be able to walk with me. But you are not young, Dani said. Won't you feel tired? I am a very good walker, Gandhiji replied. I am a good walker too. Dani was adamant. Ah, yes. Gandhiji looked thoughtful. But there is a problem. If you go with me, who will take care of Binny? After walking for so long, I will become weak. When I come back, I'll need to drink lots of milk to become strong again. Hmm, you are right, Gandhiji. Binny eats only when I feed her. Dhani lovingly stroked Binny's head, and only I know what she likes to eat. Exactly. So, will you stay in the ashram and take care of Binny for me? Yes, Gandhiji, I will, said Dhani. And Binny and I will be waiting for you. Fun facts of history. In March 1930, Mahatma Gandhiji led the march to Dandi to protest against the tax on salt imposed by the British. Gandhiji and his followers walked through Gujarat for 24 days. All along the way, they were welcomed with flowers and songs. Newspapers across the world carried reports about the march. At Dandi, Gandhiji and his followers collected salt from the seashore and were arrested. The arrest sparked off the non-cooperation movement, and people all over India boycotted schools, colleges, and offices. There were 78 volunteers who accompanied Gandhiji on the march. They covered a distance of 385 kilometers. The march began on 12th March and ended on 5th April 1930. The youngest marcher was 16 years old. The year 2005 marks the 75th anniversary of the Dandi March. These are some of the glimpses worldwide as has been reported by various news reporters. This way, we come to conclude this story, and this story is very much inspiring. And we love this story as this is telling us about great heritage and past and how our freedom fighters fought, and everyone, directly or indirectly, the part and parcel of these things. So let's see more of these kind of stories tomorrow and day after tomorrow. So in this entire National Reading Month, we have read different types of stories, history stories, stories from our own past, stories about the science, stories about the fiction, stories about animals, stories about birds, stories about the people, stories about the internet, technical stories also. So more stories are going to come. Stay tuned and wait for tomorrow's story. Till then, take care. Bye bye.